Good day, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, and welcome back to Team Fortress 2. Today, going to be playing as the engineer using the Widowmaker, the pistol, and on my melee slot is the gunslinger. Now, before anybody accuses me of playing with the gunslinger, I would like to point out that I am not going to use the mini sentry at all throughout this entire gameplay. I simply have it on to give myself a bit of an extra boost in health. Being pocketed by Vintage Hat Soldier, otherwise known as Mediscout, the medical scout of medicine. He decided to give me a little Crits Creek pop a couple of times here and there, and it was just a blast. We had a good time. So today for this video, I'm not necessarily going to be really talking about Team Fortress 2 that much. We're not going to be talking about Team Fortress 1, or even Team Fortress 3 for that matter, whenever that game comes out, which probably will sometime in the future, believe me. But what I want to talk about in this video is Half-Life. As some of you might know, I am a Half-Life fan. In fact, Half-Life 1 was the first game that I ever did a playthrough of on this channel, and I did play some of the expansion packs after that. Played Half-Life 2, was a pretty good game, but the main thing I want to talk about in terms of Half-Life is Half-Life 3. And the reason I actually bring this up is because last night I was watching a video which is a couple months old. It's an old video by Germa, which was basically about how at the time Team Fortress 2 didn't really see any substantial updates at the moment. And the substantial update did come eventually. We got things like the Two Cities update and whatnot, but at the time Team Fortress 2 was kind of just on the back burner of Valve's kitchen stove, if you will. That's no longer the case anymore, but I was looking at the comments section, and one somewhat recent comment that I really couldn't help but notice and really think about was this. If TF2 is Valve's occasionally visited grandmother, Half-Life is the grandpa they left to rot in the old folks' home, forgotten and ignored. This is like the most depressing thing I have ever read in my entire life, and it really makes me question some of my, well, faith in Valve, if you will. Now, I really highly respect Valve, and I would just kind of like to sort of counter-argue this comment that was made about how perhaps Half-Life is just a series that has pretty much been the afterthought of Valve nowadays. And what I want to argue on that is, I know that we're kind of kept in the dark about Half-Life 3 so far. Like, we haven't really gotten too much in the way of news. I remember reading a couple of articles now and then about the status of what Half-Life 3 could be like in the future. I heard that they might be moving it to, I don't know, maybe the Steam machine. This was before the Steam machine was even introduced, but I heard that they were having problems putting the game onto something like PC, and they wanted to move things up just a little bit, so they decided to, maybe we'll just put this on a different console, or perhaps even a new operating system, which is why I bring the Steam machine idea ahead. And I say that because I get the feeling that even though we are sort of kept in the dark, I would like to point out to everybody here that good things take a lot of time, and the only way that we can really get another sequel to Half-Life, in this case the third game of course, is if Valve puts a lot of time, effort, and heart into the game. If you remember when they were developing Half-Life 2, one of the things that Gabe Newell himself said, it doesn't matter how long it's going to take, we just have to focus on making this the best game ever. So even though it's been a couple of years since we've seen a substantial news on Half-Life or anything that's very revealing in the status of it, I'd like to think that we are actually getting somewhat close to a final result. Whether it's going to be on the Steam machine, perhaps even PC if we're lucky enough, I really am seriously hoping, guys, that you will believe me when I say, be patient, it's coming. And I get the feeling it will. I'm going to say it right now, perhaps we will actually get the Half-Life 3 that we fans have wanted for so long, this year, next year, maybe even the year after that, in the next 3 years. Haha, see what I did there? I said the word 3 like 3 times, because 3 years, you get the idea. That's pretty much all I just really wanted to say. Wanted to get that off my chest, because I really just had to think about it for a while now. And this gameplay is coming down to a bit of a close. We didn't get too many Ubers out. If I remember correctly, we only had 2 crits Ubers in total. And they were spent kind of interestingly, if you will. I got two kills with one of them and 3 kills with the other, so we had some fun. Pretty good round. And it's now coming to a close. We managed to just defend the point in the last couple of seconds. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up, so thank you guys very much for watching, have a great day or evening, and let's all look forward to Half-Life 3 because I get the feeling that it's coming sometime soon. Anyways guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks again.